Hi everyone, this is Kalyan Kumar this side and welcome back to Chemistry Universe. We have finished carbohydrates and biomolecules. The second one is proteins, which is what we're going to start with this series of videos. And proteins are relatively smaller in comparison to the number of videos a little smaller, but the duration of videos may be a little longer, around 20 minutes perhaps. So we'll see as we go along. So proteins is what we're going to start with this. To give you a brief idea, proteins are the most important components of our nutrition. You cannot grow without proteins. Growth is only due to proteins. So proteins are that important. And these proteins are made up of, and proteins are basically polymers, and these are made up of the individual components called the amino acids. So first we'll talk about the various amino acids, and in this video we'll talk about how we can categorize these amino acids, and we'll also see the structure and name of these amino acids. And you have to remember all the 20 amino acids that we're going to discuss today. These are the 20 amino acids that are found in the human body, and they need to be, you need to know the structure, you need to know the names. And there is no particular way of doing that, though I'll try to give you some mnemonics that will help you in remembering all of these. But still, you will have to practice. You have to keep writing the structures, naming them, and do it almost every day from here onwards, so that you're able to remember their names and structure instantly. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so we have amino acids and nature and structure. So let's understand what these are. So the first introduction. Now, what are amino acids? Bifunctional compounds having an acidic carboxylic group and a basic amino group are known as amino acids. Now that makes sense, because what are amino acids? I mean, amino group and a carboxylic acid group. So these are organic molecules which have amino group as well as carboxylic group, and they may be one, they may be carboxylic acid may be more than one, amino could be more than one. So we will see as we go along. All right. So for example, you can take this. It's an amino acid. Now amino acids are the monomers, as I mentioned before. And two amino acids form an amide linkage with each other called a peptide bond. Now, this is what you need to understand. We have done this in carboxylic acids. We have done this in amines. If you have, let us say, one amino acid like this, and the other has its, let's say, H here, and let's write it properly. So suppose I have the NH part here and the other H here, and this is that, no, this is not CH2, it's CH, R, COOH, and these two, they go as water. So what do you get? You get RCHNH2, you get CO, and you get NH, CHR, COH. So can you see this amide linkage forming? This is called a peptide bond. So when two amino acids come together, the carboxylic acid of one and the amino group of the other combine to form a peptide, amide linkage, and that is called a peptide bond. So two amino acids form one peptide bond. Okay, so the resulting dimer is called a dipeptide. Now, even though one peptide bond is formed, we will still call it a dipeptide, just to tell you how many amino acids are there. When several amino acids bind together, the resulting polymer is a protein, as I mentioned. And there are 20 amino acids commonly found in proteins. And all of them are alpha amino acids. Now, what are alpha amino acids? Don't confuse this alpha with the alpha that we store in carbohydrates. Alpha amino acid is very simple. Basically, you have the amino group on the alpha carbon of a carboxylic group. If you remember the IUPAC naming, carboxylic group was always given the first priority, the highest priority. So its alpha carbon is taken as the alpha carbon. And if the NH2 is attached to that, it's called an alpha amino acid. If NH2 is somewhere else, it's called beta, gamma, whatever amino acid. But all the amino acids that we are going to discuss, the 20 of them that form proteins, we are going to call them, and they are all, by the way, alpha amino acids. Now, all amino acids are primary except proline, which is secondary. Now, all amino acids are chiral molecules with at least one chiral carbon except glycine, and they are optically active and can be assigned D or L configuration. So other than glycine, all of them are optically active. This is glycine. As you can see, there is no chiral carbon. But if you see the other one, D-alanine. This one is D-alanine. And you can see that we are giving it D because the NH2 is on the right. And it's got its mirror here. And the mirror image would reflect it. And this will be L-alanine. Okay. So let's look at some classification. How do we classify them? Well, we can classify them based on the requirement. Now, essential amino acids cannot be synthesized in the human body, so dietary intake is required. Now, out of the 20 amino acids, there are 11 of them that are synthesized in the human body. Some of them completely, some of them partially. 9 of them, 9 of the 20 are not synthesized in the human body, which means a dietary intake of these is vital. Which is why we say that you must have a proper protein intake in the body. So these amino acids are called essential amino acids. Not that the other 11 are not essential in the essential sense, but they're already there in the body. They can be prepared in the body. 9 have to be essentially taken in your diet. So for any human being, 1 gram a day is required. Out of the 20 amino acids, there are 9 which are essential. Semi-essential amino acids can be synthesized in the human body, but dietary intake is still required during growing stages when more of cell division is required. For example, early childhood, pregnancy, and lactating mothers. The non-essential amino acids, the body can synthesize them. So that is one way of classifying them. Another way would be based on their chemical nature. Well, there are amino acids which are neutral. And I mean, we're not calling that their pH is 7 or something. But what we are saying is that amino acids having equal number of NH2 and COOH are called neutral amino acids. They may not be neutral in their pH. Neutral amino acids are further classified as polar and non-polar, depending on whether their side chains have polar or non-polar parts. For example, this one is polar, as you can see, because of CONH2. It's an alpha amino acid, but it has got a amide part. So it's called asparagine and it's polar. Whereas if it is a simple hydrocarbon chain like this, alanine, it's non-polar. So neutral one can be categorized further into polar and non-polar. Then you have acidic amino acids. And as you can guess, these are the ones which have COH more in number. So amino acids having more COH groups than NH2 are acidic amino acids. So aspartic and glutamic, each with a second COH in their side chain, are acidic amino acids. And what am I talking about? This is aspartic acid and amino acid. As you can see, there are 2 COH in it. Then there is glutamic acid. And the only difference is that it has got one more carbon in between. But again, it has got 2 COH. Then you have basic amino acid. Can you guess what they are? They should be the ones which have more NH2, right? So amino acids having more NH2 groups than COH are basic amino acids. For example, you have lysine, arginine, histidine, each with a basic site in the side chain are basic amino acids. So this is lysine. This is arginine. And remember, we got to remember all of these. And this is histidine. They have more NH2, they have more NH part, basic part. All right. So now we are getting into the structure. The structures are pretty important. As I said, remember them. I'm trying to make them make you remember at least the names as easily as I can, and I categorize them in a way so that it is easy for you to probably make their structures. And it's okay that you have to. It's okay if you can remember all of them in the particular series in which I'm giving them. It's maybe difficult to randomly, have a name and give a structure, or have a structure and be able to give a name. But even if you can do it this way, it's okay. And only practice and repetition is going to help you in this. All right. So now we got talk about structure. Now it is important to remember the structure and names of each amino acids. So the first set I'm going to ask you to remember. So remember the alphabets NPAB. You can remember it as nature provides amazing beauty. Okay. The reason is N stands for non-polar, P for polar, A for acidic, and B for basic. This is how we are going to classify them. So let's look at the first one, non-polar. Now, just remember the alphabets GAV, LIMT. Or you can call it GAV-LIM PPT. I remember it as GAV-LIM PPT. At least that will give you the names of the amino acids, not of course the structure. The simplest is G, glycine. And it has a single alphabet notation of G, and it has got a 3 alphabet notation of GLY. Remember, amino acids can be, easily identified by their alphabet. But the alphabets are not that easy. It's not always the first alphabet, because many of them will have the same first alphabet. So you have a single alphabet, sometimes most of it time matching with the first alphabet of the name, but sometimes not. But then you have a 3 alphabet notation also. You got to remember both. So I know it's a big deal. You got to remember the name, the single one, the 3 set of alphabets and the names. But remember, in most of the entrance tests, you will get a lot of questions on biomolecules, but all of them are pretty simple. They're pretty basic. And I'm not talking about in acidic basic sense. They're pretty fundamental. But you got to remember the names. If you can simply remember the names and get marks out of that, what's the problem? So it is essential that you take this particular lesson seriously. So this is glycine, and I think you can remember that. Okay. Now, instead of a CH2, if I take one H out of CH2 and put a CH3, I get the next one, which is A. This is alanine. Single A, 3 alphabet ALA, easy to remember. And this is alanine. Now I'm going to make it a little complicated. Now this particular carbon, if I put 2 CH3s on this, I get the V part. It's called valine. And stars are the essential ones, the ones that you need to take in your diet. Single V, 3 alphabet VAL, and this is this. And maybe you can remember it, it's looking like a V here. If I make it like this, maybe that will help you. Valine has a V type part, but not on this carbon. It is attached to this carbon. So alanine can give you valine in that sense. And then put one carbon in between the isopropyl group and the carbon, you get the L. It's called leucine. Again, it is essential. LLEU. I think it's easy to remember. So you get this. The I is the isoleucine. So basically what happens is one of the carbons, one of the CH3s, instead of being on this carbon, jumps to this carbon. So it's like branching it. Isoleucine, IILE. So there's a bit of a difference here. And this is isoleucine. Then if you were to put on isoleucine, if you were to put one sulfur ether, a methyl sulfur ether, you will get the next one that's called M-methionine. M-MET. And you have to remember which are the ones which are stars. That is essential. So this is methionine. Then comes the P part. This is a little tough. It's proline. And it's like this. It's a ring one, 5-membered ring. And they're all alpha. So all the N are attached to the alpha carbon of COH. Then you have the next P, it's phenylalanine. So in alanine, if I take one H out of this carbon, and if I put a pH group, I'll get this phenylalanine. But remember, it is F, the single alphabet. And this is how it is. And then comes the last part, T. Now this is even more complicated. It's called tryptophan. I mean, you can remember the names easily. And look at it, it has got the tungsten alphabet, W. So this is phenylalanine. And this is a basic amino acid because it's got 2 nitrogens, whereas only 1 COH. You should be able to remember all of this. So that was the non-polar one. And remember, the original one, nature provides amazing beauty. So this is N non-polar. Now we have P polar. So here I want you to remember the alphabets AGS, TTC, or avid gardeners skillfully tending to crops. I know there is too many things to remember, but well, this is what we got. So A is asparagine. And remember, they will always have a polar part. Single alphabet N. So it's got an amide group. Put a carbon in between, it gives you the G glutamine. Or you just reduce one carbon and or you can imagine that in alanine, I take one H and put an OH. I get serine. And then I put one carbon on the CH2. I get the T. It's called threonine. And then the next T is called tyrosine. Single alphabet Y. And tyrosine is basically alanine with a phenolic group attached, para. You can remember them like this. Then comes the last one, C, cysteine. And that is again a thioether, rather a thiol on alanine. So alanine with a thiol. And remember the original one, nature provides amazing beauty. So amazing and beauty are basically acid and base. So acidic amino acids, there are only 2 of them. Luckily, alphabet AG, all good. So aspartic acid, alanine, just put one COH on the carbon of alanine, beta carbon. And put one carbon in between, one more, you have glutamic acid. And when it comes to basic amino acids, well, there are only 3 of them. We can remember them as LAH, lithium aluminum hydride. We have done it so many times. L is for lysine. Now the names are easy, the structures are not. Lysine, you got to remember the number of carbons, and the number of carbons are 4. So it is better to write it is as CH2 4NH2. Remember it like this. Otherwise, if you were to completely draw the structure, you might not be able to count the number of carbons properly. Sometimes you might end up making 3. So just be careful on that. And the A is arginine. Again, it's basic. You got several N's here. And you have histidine, the H. And this is again not that easy to remember. But then that's what we got. And that ends this particular video. So as you saw, the structures are not that easy as you saw in carbohydrates, the aldoses, ketoses, but you have to remember them. And I think a simple practice daily, if you do them, and just make sure that you keep this as something that is going to happen repetitively. Just like you brush your teeth every day, just make sure that you're able to spend half an hour, 45 minutes in remembering all the amino acids and their structures. And you can remember them in the order in which I told them. And And then slowly over a period of time, when you start remembering all of them, when you are able to draw all the structures and everything, try to do the reverse. You're given the name, try to figure out where the name fits, and then draw the structure. And then over a period of time, random structure, and be able to give the name. So anyway, with that, this is Kalyan Kumar signing off. Have a great and wonderful day, and thank you for watching this. And I'll catch you in the next one.